Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. Wake up here, guys. Wake up here. Hold up. I got to get another taste of that coffee. Just hold up for 1 second. Wow. I swear, when football's around, I swear it seems like the coffee is just a little bit bolder. You know what I mean? It just feels, it's got a better taste to it. It feels like the air feels a little bit cleaner. The skies feel a little bluer. And speaking of that, it's kind of crazy. The other day I was walking with my wife. We're trying to get that 10,000 steps a day, and we've been well over a month since the last time we didn't reach 10,000. So shout out to my wonderful wife who's walking the hell out of me. But I was looking at the sky and thinking that this is summertime. And it used to be, I don't know if you've ever, some of you guys may be old enough to remember, but there used to be a commercial where there was an Indian, and he was in full Indian clothing and all that, and he's walking around and he's seeing, foam on the rivers, he's seeing, trash on the side of the road, and, he's standing on the side of the road, somebody just, throws trash and stuff and lands at his feet. And he's like on top of a hillside, and you're seeing all this smog and stuff like that, and he turns to the camera and you see a teardrop run down his eye. Because I remember growing up, it was always, the summertime, it was hazy, hot, and humid, and, you always had bad air quality days, code red and code orange and things. And what I realized when we were walking the other day, I was like, I don't remember hearing any bad air quality days this year. No red, no orange, I haven't heard it unhealthy. And so I looked it up, and literally, we have not had a code red or a code even orange. Now, I believe it's because of the global pandemic, and, people are working from home more so than they are, in the offices, because I know traffic is lighter. But I got to tell you, I kind of like this clean air that we're breathing in these blue skies, because when we were walking last night to finish off our 10,000 steps, I'm looking up in the sky, and I think it's Mars that I'm seeing up there with my naked eye, and I'm seeing more stars than I usually do. We usually have a lot of light pollution and stuff, and I'm just like, this is almost like a totally different world. But maybe it's just that football season is back. Now, this is what's great, it's great to finally have some football and actions and transactions that are actually being made on the field. I am excited as can be. I'm happy. I'm actually a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. Thus far, on 18 teams, we have only 27 players that have opted out. I'm really and truly surprised by that, and I think it's around 25 or 26, and I could be wrong on that. I haven't seen an update this morning on players that have tested positive for coronavirus. I'm going to make a statement, and I don't know if it's actually going to be true or not, but with what the NFL is trying to do, we understand that football is not like any other sport. Because of the contact, because you're taking guys to the ground and stuff like that. That if you have one person on the field, you potentially could end up having the whole team get it. I get that. But what the NFL has thus far implemented has actually not been bad. The daily test until you get below 5%. Putting in restrictions on what you're supposed to be able to do, and basically potentially you losing your salary for the season if you're doing risky behavior. The trying to social distance in the locker room, the virtual meetings. They have put on, a lot. There's no guarantees that it's going to work. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's definitely going to work. But I dare say that as far as coronavirus goes, those players are probably safer when they're playing and with the team than they are when they're not. if we all had this kind of coronavirus protection, probably we'd get a handle on this shit. And I'm beginning to think that maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that we can get this thing going. If, and here's the big if, the players take it seriously. If the players realize the way I have to be at work is the way I have to be when I'm not at work, then there's a chance that this season can go on. And I'm hopeful of that. The fact that Cowboys in one of the hot spots, you know, they're good right now, to me is a great thing, because I see players now that you've got practice going on, now that you got, classroom meetings, now that you're beginning to feel like, as we sit 45 days, 10 hours and 56 minutes away from kickoff against the Rams, you get something to focus on, and you don't have all that free time where you're going to get yourself into some trouble, that maybe there's a better chance. If we had come through with a couple hundred players already with coronavirus, I'd be like, yeah, it's not going to happen. But I'm hopeful that maybe there's a chance that we can get it together. Now, for our Cowboys, the difference to me last year, we were 8-8. One, we had a coach that, I'm sorry, I just don't feel like he was lovable by the players, but he was not the motivator. And I felt like, more than anything else, the players have begun to take on Jason Garrett's persona. When you started to hear Zeke Elliott and things in the locker room interviewed after the game, well, we'll look at the film and, we'll learn from this loss and we'll get better. And it's like, am I listening to Zeke Elliott or am I listening to Jason Garrett? Because it just didn't seem like there was fire in the belly. Like there was passion. Like it was just, okay, well, better luck next time. It was like a little league team. Beyond that, the other thing that really derailed the season, at least in my mind, were a couple of things. One, D-Law. He still had pretty good numbers. I'll concede that. But D-Law waiting on getting that shoulder taken care of. He wasn't able to lift weights with that all off season. He wasn't able to do all of the things that he was supposed to be able to do, getting that shoulder ready. And missed most of training camp, was finally off the PUP list last week before the season. It was originally in doubt when he had the surgery if he would actually be able to play in the first couple of games. That hurt our Dallas Cowboys team. Right there. That shoulder. Not blaming him. I'm not blaming the Cowboys. It just is what it is. We just couldn't get the shit done. That's number one. Number two, Zeke Elliott holding out. Zeke Elliott, he came in last week of training camp after running in the beach and on the sand and everything else, which is, he was in shape, but you weren't in football shape. There's nothing like being out there in the pads and running and hitting everything else. Because the way it was set up before this new collective bargaining agreement was, you basically had about 14 padded practices. After training camp, you only have 11 padded practices during the season. That's it. Zeke missed all that. And this is where it's going to be difficult, but it's the same across the board because there's not going to be much hitting in camp. You're going to have strength and conditioning in classrooms till the 13th of August. And then you're going to have 5 days of helmets, walkthroughs, basically. And after that, you'll have like 8 or 10 padded practices. That's it. So missing those practices, missing that hitting, that does slow you down. And you could see a lot of times that Zeke Elliott would be, after a good run, I need a blow. That hurt. Now, did he have good numbers? Yeah, he had good numbers. Still wasn't quite as good as you think that he should have been. That's number two. Number three, Amari Cooper coming in with plantar fasciitis. Again, throughout most of training camp, the first week he practiced a couple days, and then it was jacked up. And throughout all of training camp, it was in doubt. And the plantar fasciitis, when you have a body part that hurts, you change what you do to protect it. To give you an example, I've got two bad knees. My left knee, I tore my ACL in high school. They basically trimmed it up and let me go. And they said, right now, the technology is not really there. Wait a few years, we'll do a reconstruction down the road when we can do it through the scope as opposed to basically cutting your knee open. Because if you cut your knee open, it's basically a 1 to 2 year rehabilitation to get it back. And you have a butt ugly scar. So they took that out and played football 3 weeks later. Played 6 games my senior season, ran track, went to college, became a decathlete, walked on football team. The right knee, I had a flesh-eating bacteria, which is one of the reasons why when people tell me that, oh, it's a hoax, or, only 2% of the people, get really sick from the coronavirus, so it's no big deal. Yeah, well, see, the knee over here was a strep infection. Well, I think it's strep. Yeah, strep throat. Take some zinc lozenges and, stay away from people and you're fine. Yeah. Well, less than 1% of the people who get strep get it as an infection in their body. And when I did, it attacked my right knee. My knee swelled up to about the size of a basketball and was this color from Wednesday to Saturday, and I had 104 temperature. Spent 2 weeks in the hospital with 3 knee operations, where they literally cut my knee open, scraped out the infection, packed it for a couple more days, and went back in and scraped out the infection off the bone. So this knee was messed up, and because this knee was so messed up, it changed what I did. I started leaning the other way. This knee was jacked up, but not anywhere near like that one. Well, what's happened over the years is, because I had to change to compensate, my knee joint literally has a little bit of a bend to it. The bone on the inside doesn't really touch. The bone on the outside has literally rubbed a groove into the bottom of it. Now, this is beyond what's happening with Amari Cooper. But because Amari Cooper had the injury with the ankle, it changes the way you do things. And I believe that led to the knee issue and the thigh issue and so on, because you shift your body. When you shift your body, it changes things. Maybe now your back aches. And I will actually say, give Carson Wentz a pass on him injuring his back, because that may have been the same type of an issue. Because he destroyed his knee, because you're going to favor it, because your body has changed because of the operation, it shifts everything else, and that could have led to his back problems. Giving you a pass on that. So you had Amari Cooper, who really couldn't practice at all during the season, missed all the training camp, and in some games you just looked at it and it was just like, he's not the same guy. These 3 things added up, that if Amari Cooper, a couple of those games that he didn't really show, were a little bit better, if Zeke Elliott had more wind and didn't have to go out on critical downs, if D-Law was able to have that shoulder a little bit stronger sooner, where he could help use that hand in moving around and getting better pressure and getting a couple more sacks, the season looks totally different. And so the key for the Dallas Cowboys this year is hopefully keeping everybody from Jump Street healthy, going through training camp, especially with a new coach, with new philosophy, with changes abroad. If we can keep these guys healthy and through training camp, it will be a major, major improvement from where we were last year. And that is the key for this season. It's going to be health for the next 4 weeks. So, with that being said, I got to go over here. We finally got all the stuff in for that bathroom. We're going to get the toilet set, get the shower devices all hooked up and everything else, get the sink put in, the light put in, get that place put to bed. And then we'll get back over here and hopefully get back in time so I can get my glasses so I can see some shit. All right, y'all. Any news on the Dallas Cowboys? We will be sure to bring it to you. I'm excited as can be that we have football back, baby! Whew. All right. I'll see you guys later.